So in the previous video, I talked about how frustrating it's been recently learning the new modern butterfly goaltending techniques. So what I'm going to do in this video is we're going to talk about a handful of exercises I've been doing the past month that I feel like has completely changed my game and made me feel a lot more confident and a lot better about my game when I hit the ice. If you're a self-taught goalie like myself, pretty sure one day you thought it was a great idea to lace them up, step on the ice, and start taking pucks to the head. So I never took skating lessons, and I am by no means an athlete. So when I go on social media and I find these cool skating drills and I try to do them, I fail completely miserably. So I kind of thought to myself, instead of looking up goalie specific drills, I started researching on how skaters train to skate on the ice. And I feel like I finally got some really big gains doing these handful of exercises. So if you bob up and down as you skate across the crease, have slanted broken ankles when you do your shuffle or in your default stance, or just feel completely gassed simply after a warm-up, I feel like these exercises are really going to address those issues and improve your overall game. So always a big shout out to Julie. You can find her at Tiny Tendy on YouTube. If you're watching, Julie, I do apologize if I'm completely butchering these things because I know you taught me most of these, so big thanks to you. I'm really excited to share these exercises with all of you because it's one of those things that I've added to my exercise routine that I feel like has made a huge significant difference, and I can actually see and feel the improvements when I hit the ice. So are there any exercises or tips that you've done recently that you've noticed made a significant improvement for you on the ice when you're playing goal? Let us all know in the comments below, and let's share this awesome knowledge with one another. So with these exercises, you definitely want to do them with your skates on. You can definitely do them without your skates, but what we want to try to do is build that ankle mobility and stability. And having your skates on is obviously going to mimic what's going to happen on the ice. So the first exercise we're going to talk about is actually understanding what an athletic stance is. So through my time of playing, I've always had people talk about get lower in your stance, bend your knees more, get your ass down a little bit. I never really fully understood what that meant. So what that actually means is getting into an athletic stance like a basketball player or a tennis player. So the way you do this is you have your feet obviously a little bit wider than shoulder width, whatever's comfortable for you. And you're just gonna bend your knees and then hinge and then keeping your chest up and then your hands forward like in your stance like this. Now the way that I actually look at how to line this up is I have my knees a little bit over my toes and then I have my shoulders a little bit over my knees as best I can. And then hands in front. So the important thing with this is when you're looking at your ankles is we don't wanna collapse in like this to do our stance. We wanna try to keep it nice and strong so your ankles are lined up with your legs. And then I'm just gonna bend at the knees, so knees over my toes a little bit, and then my shoulders slightly over my knees, and then hands out in front. So the actual exercise portion of this is to hold this while you're on the ice. You're gonna find that this is actually gonna really start to burn your quads quite quickly, but the important thing is what you wanna do is make sure that you're also using your glute, your butt muscle. So this is something that I wasn't doing. You really wanna kind of just focus on contracting your glutes, because that's gonna be your biggest muscle where most of your power is going, and just hold that. And you wanna try to build this up when you're on the ice to do 1 minute holds. And what this is gonna allow you to do is fix that bobbing movement that happens when you skate across the crease, because standing up like this is actually a lot easier than being in your athletic stance. So we wanna try to get our body used to being in this powerful athletic stance. And everyone's stance is gonna look a little bit different based off of your flexibility and just how your body is gonna be. But just try to hold that and just recruit the muscles, make sure that your ankles are strong. And this is gonna be the foundation for the other two exercises. One of the other problems that I had when I was on the ice is I relied too heavily on my inside edges. So what I mean by that is you're always relying on your inside edge for your stance and your ankles kind of get collapsed in like that. So to try to fix this issue, you want to actually get used to being on your hollow, so on the flat of your skate. So when I first started doing this, I was kind of like wobbly, I was all over the place. But what we want to try to do is get your body used to not only the inside edge, but also the hollow as well. And this is going to help with a lot of balance and stability issues that you might have with your ankles. So the exercise portion of this is, so instead of having your feet a little bit past shoulder width, just do a nice narrow stance like this and get on that hollow and then just get into your stance. I'm on my towels here, but when you're on the ice, you actually want to just try to glide across the ice like this. And as you're gliding, there's a good chance you're probably gonna get a little bit wobbly because your ankles aren't used to not having that inside edge to support you. So once you get used to that hollow a bit more, you're gonna be able to use your inside edges and the middle of your blade. So once you're comfortable on 2 feet, sitting on your hollow like this and kind of gliding around, the next thing that we're gonna do is get comfortable balancing on the hollow on one leg. And it's easier when you're moving to do this, but basically you just wanna lift one leg and just try to balance. And every time that I'm doing these exercises, you wanna make sure that your glute or your butt is activated. So have a bit of fun with this one. Try to skate around on one leg, kind of like a figure skater. So I've basically been doing these 3 main exercises for the past month. I usually do about 45 minutes to an hour per week strictly on these exercises. And after doing this for a month or so, I actually feel like my quads and my glute have packed on a bunch of meat, like some good muscle in there, which I probably never had or used before. So then now when I actually play goalie and I'm in my stance, I feel a lot more stronger and my ankles are so much more stable. All right, so there you have it. Those are the 3 things that I've been working on during public skates in the past month, and I feel like this has really made a big improvement in my game. And one thing that I also want to mention is when you look on social media, there's a lot of higher end goalies who will show how they lace their skates, and usually they leave a few eyelets open on the top and they kind of do a really loose tie job. So that's super cool for experienced goalies, but if you don't have the ankle strength or mobility to utilize that loose skate, this is not really going to help you learn in any way. So what I've been doing actually is just tightening my laces as much as I can to give me that stability until I build that ankle strength. Then I'll probably start to loosen them up a little bit more, but until then, keep them nice and snug so you can kind of recruit those muscles to a point where you're stable with looser skates. So I really hope some of you guys try those things out. Let me know if that works for you. I know it's sometimes a bit hard to find ice time to practice these things, but you can always do them when the puck's on the other side of the rink. You can definitely do these without skates in your house probably, but the thing is, when I was doing these exercises without my skates on, they're really easy to do. Once I put the skates on, it's a completely different story because you're balancing on that thin piece of steel. So I hope you guys are all having a great summer. I'm looking forward to getting on the ice a little bit more. We're gonna start working with the coach again in the next month. So we're gonna see a couple more of those videos coming up and then hopefully hit the fall season on a high note and keep improving from there. So thanks you so much for watching. Thanks for the comments and support in the previous video. It really motivates me to kind of keep making these things for you. Anyways, keep cool out there. I know it's still hot. Have a great summer and I'll see you guys in the next one.